The government set a limit on the quantity of powdered formula an individual may carry out of Hong Kong. The limit over any 24-hour period is 2 tins under an amendment to the import and export regulation. The law came into effect on March 1st under negative vetting and will remain effective until rescinded by the Legislative Council. According to Secretary for Food and Health Ko Wing Man, the purpose of the legislation is to ensure adequate supply for local parents and to prevent huge quantities of powdered formula from being moved out of the Hong Kong supply chain.
Since January, we observed that there are activities of the parallel traders in seeking to buy out the supply of formula milk powders from the retail outlets of Hong Kong. And this has caused the difficulty for the local parents to buy adequate formula milk powder for their own babies. We have initially allowed it a period of up to 3 weeks for the suppliers and the retail shops to improve the retail supply chain.
After 3 weeks, the situation had not improved significantly, prompting the government to revise the law to bring in even more stringent measures to control the situation in February.
Firstly, we have adopted various measures to restrict the activities of the parallel traders. Secondly, we also employed the 24-hour hotline of the government itself to help those parents who cannot purchase adequate formula milk powder for their babies. Now, with all these measures, the condition gradually stabilized. But we realized at that time that if the situation goes on, and after the period of the Lunar New Year, when the activities of the parallel traders will be more active again, the situation might return. And therefore, we considered it necessary to bring in a legislative measure to restrict the amount of formula milk powder that individuals can carry outside Hong Kong.
Some critics argue that restrictions violate the spirit of Hong Kong's renowned free trade, even against the basic law. Ko emphasizes that the government has struck a balance by allowing a person of any nationality, not necessarily mainlanders, over 18 years old, to carry 2 tins.
We have given the careful consideration of these international trade principles and all legal aspects, and we do not consider that this legislative measure is against any principle of international free trade as well as any law. We are cautiously optimistic that the bill would be accepted by the Legislative Council, although we know that a number of questions has been raised by our Honourable Legislative Council members, including suggestion for sunset clause and the clarity of the legal definition of formula milk powder. We are seeking now to further improve the legal definition of formula milk powder so as to help or assist our frontline law enforcement officers and to avoid wrong application of this principle in law enforcement. There are indeed many very constructive suggestions by our Honourable Legislative Councillors, and we are seeking to absorb all these suggestions into the final legislative proposal that we will put forth hopefully to the Legislative Council on the 17th of April, including the legal definition of the formula milk powder.